something that I heard on MSNBC today, because they're seeing, anyway. Um, Ted Kennedy said in his speech about Martin Luther King's words in regards to the fierce urgency of now, and that we are in one of those times right now, and somehow that cannot get lost in the petty arguments that we've been having over the last I don't know how many years. Doesn't matter who's right or wrong, and I think this is the point that I get when I listen to Barack Obama. Doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. Any engagement in the arguments of the past have kept us stuck in the past. And if we are going to start collectively living in a public way the change that we in our hearts know in a private way, then we're going to have to take a stand and a step far different than any we've taken in the last since the 60s. So I think that the Bush years let us know that the country was and is hungry, not just for change, but for definition. I think 9/11 shocked us into waking up, into mobilizing ourselves and really looking at ourselves and really saying to the world that, whoa, sorry about that, we were asleep. But don't mistake a nap for weakness. And it also was a wake-up call to us, to ourselves, that, everyone started flag waving, everyone started trying to march to a unified tone. And I think that is what got lost in all our arguments about black and white and all that stuff. And they're good arguments and they're good debates, and we should continue to talk about these things. But our arguments should not be the glue that sticks us to the past. They should rather be, they should open our ideas. They should shape us. They should move us. The more we can add our differences to the mix, the more the collective vision of what America is can come forth. And I think that few people recognize this. I think the Kennedys of the 60s saw this. I think Martin Luther King saw this. I think Malcolm X, when he came back from Mecca, had a different vision. He saw this. I think along the way, there were a lot of people who recognized a quilt is made up of different pieces that look different but are sewn together. That's a patchwork quilt. That's what America is. And that when we can, most of us, anyway, I'm going on and on about this, but basically, don't get caught up in this idea that if you vote for Barack Obama, that you're somehow dissing Hillary and Bill, because you're not. Because in fact, a lot of work that they've done over the years has brought us to the point where we can have a Barack Obama and vote for Barack Obama. So don't get misled and bamboozled and hoodwinked, and don't get caught up in this whole thing. Sometimes you gotta jump in the water in order for the skills that you have to kick into place. And we have the ability and the skill to live together, to interact, to be a collective, overwhelmingly beautiful force in the world. It's in us. We just need to be kicked into the water so that can just kick in. And I think that's what Barack does. I think the Hillarys and the Bills and the Romneys and the McCains, I think they're good people. They give voice to a segment of our society that is a real voice, but they're not really. I don't feel inspired when I listen to them. I don't feel like I really am a part of this culture. I don't feel that. When I listen to Barack Obama, after every speech I've heard him say, I have felt like I want to be a part of this in a way that I haven't felt so long. I mean, even when Jesse Jackson was running. I was excited. I was happy. It was good to have someone who looks like me in the mix. But I didn't feel that sense of inspiration that I feel now. So that's not to diss any of the work Jesse Jackson's done or anybody else. Everybody has stepped forward in ways that I have not been able to in my lifetime. So, I'm not dissing anybody. But what I'm saying is, I'm seeing something in my lifetime that I didn't think I would see. And I'm blown away, and I'm not just moved by Barack Obama. I was moved by Ted Kennedy. I felt something in his voice, something in his being come through that really said something about, about his vision for what this country is and can be. And I've seen that. I've sold Kirby vacuum cleaners. I went into people's houses. I've talked to people. I've seen this America. And it surprises me when we have something like a Rodney King or Amadou Diallo. It surprises me when that voice of America, who knows that this is outrageous, doesn't step forward, and demand justice. There's so many people who do not follow, of all colors, all political parties, who just don't believe the rhetoric that we hear on TV of hate that comes from a few. So something's been missing in our collective voice. And I feel that thing presenting itself today. And I want to be a part of that. And I want to encourage you, don't be afraid of the idea that some terrorist is going to run in and take care of America. Because there are too many people invested in seeing that doesn't happen. If Barack takes office, things are not going to just stop. There'll be change, and it'll be different, and sometimes it'll be scary, and you know what? But that's okay, because we got Bill Clinton, who's pretty smart. We got we got Bush. We got his father. We got, there's a lot of people. So this election isn't happening in a vacuum. So don't be misled. Don't be afraid. Don't be bamboozled. Don't be hoodwinked. Don't allow yourself to believe that you have to go against your heart. Because I know your heart is moved when you hear Barack. But your heart's supposed to be moved. You are supposed to get chicken skin when one of our leaders speaks. You're supposed to be motivated to do something when one of our leaders steps forward and says, this is where we're at. So don't start thinking that, because I feel this in my heart, doesn't mean anything about tomorrow. Bullshit. You're it. And if you don't take an action, then our leader is not doing their job. So don't get caught up in all this crap, Get caught up in the urgency of now. The urgency of now says that we move. Change is, it's funny that a politician will be running on this platform of change. I mean, any first grader knows that change is the only constant in the universe. So